Right, we're rolling.
I'm gonna give people about 60 seconds to sit down. All right, I'm gonna call this meeting to order. Oh, I don't know that I gave a chance for folks to sign up. Here's a sign-up sheet.
Sorry. Sorry.
Apologies.
There they are.
Yeah.
Okay, gonna call this meeting to order. Mr. Hyde, would you provide us with the invocation, please, sir?
Father, we thank you for this day. Bless this meeting. May you bring discernment and good judgment to our decisions. We pray in thy name.
Amen. I entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
So, second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Did we add the?
Without objection, I would like to add, under new business, item, thank you for reminding me, item D, approval for up to $1,500 for changes to the, county building relevant to the, law office.
Right, where's this going?
It's right here.
Look at the one.
Yeah, that's the old one. For those of y'all who are on your packet, take off the first couple are the old previous agendas. There you go.
Oh.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
the minutes.
They arranged it a little bit differently.
What are we doing under new
So the
business?
first, your first two are minutes. So my change would add an item D under new business.
Yeah, did we make copies, Steve?
Yes, they're over here on the card.
Okay.
So I'll take another vote here. All in favor to approve with that amendment?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Recognition of the public. New face, Mr. Kevin Baker.
Yeah,
I don't know. Oh,
yeah.
424 AV Ray Road.
I had some Botox injections, and so it may look a little different, I don't know. I think we're not gonna talk about the resolution to support the TDEC.
we may.
I just question why we need to give Val State 40 grand for, I mean, the state of Tennessee has $3 billion surplus. Why is the county funding, 2 years of free community college when the state is rolling in money? I just think it's a little excessive. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I'd entertain the motion to approve all of the minutes under item D.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I'm going to abstain since I was missing.
Oh, one abstention, Mr. Mansfield, because he was missing for some of those. Okay. I have no report, Mr. Mayor.
No, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Long?
On page 64 is the first item. Annually, to be qualified for 3-star, which affects grant matches if we are not. It says that the debt policy will be reviewed with the county commission. The debt policy is on page 66. And in a nutshell, it really covers 3 things. It just tells how we're going to disclose new debt, terms, costs, do a report of existing debts, tells how regulatory compliance is going to be done, and what will happen with any new debt, such as disclosures and how it should be structured.
Mr. Long, does this need a vote?
Yes, it needs to be sent on to the county commission and that,
Okay.
as a report, because it needs to be there for part of 3-star. So
That is.
We have a motion. I'll second it for purposes of discussion.
My question is there anything changed from this debt policy versus the one we previously had? I got my.
No, it's the same one, and then
Okay.
there's the attached amendment that happened years ago. Well, it does need to be.
This is like what?
It does need to be updated, but Right now, we just need to do a review of it for three-star.
So this is similar to what I mean, I had this printed out from like a year ago.
It's the exact same.
That's what I was.
Exact same one, except one amendment, it's on our website that we got back in 13.
Mr. Isbell?
Wow, so I just need to add this new version.
This is a component of the three-star program that I've got here that we'd like to lump it all together if possible and get it all to the full commission. But it's not, my section's not on the agenda, but it's all the components that David's doing. So,
Are you?
One at that point, no.
Are you suggesting that we amend are you suggesting an amendment to add the three-star?
If we could get it all passed tonight, yes, but that's totally up to y'all.
This is my fault. You sent the three-star to me and I didn't get a good review out to everybody, so
What are we at? I'm not following.
go ahead, Mr. Mayor.
Well, it's basically a resolution that's passed each year for it's the fiscal strength and efficient government continuation letter. And it has the components like what David's talking about, where you review the debt policy. You have the county audit. We had that meeting on May 22nd. And then David also provides the annual cash flow. He supplies that as well. And then the final thing was the internal controls policy, which we have in place for the county. All of these components, you're basically just saying that, okay, yes, this has all been done.
I'd entertain a motion to
And that would be in the form of a resolution.
it's not gonna hurt my feelings either direction, but I'd entertain a motion if somebody would like to approve that resolution in conjunction with Mr. Long's debt policy.
I'll lump it all in with mine if you'll lump it in with the same.
I'll do that, and then we can vote on both.
And I guess, or I assume all those statements are true, that there's no, yeah, okay.
This is one of the final parts that wasn't done. Review of the policy.
That was it, right? That was all that was left.
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion passed unanimously. Mr. Long, transfers?
These transfers are the one for the June 30, 2003 fiscal year. That had to be done before the end of the year. They're between interbudgetary line items, so they've already been posted. Most of them are to do with like courthouse and jail maintenance and building maintenance. A lot of these transfers are because the mayor was asked to separate courthouse and jail and the other buildings separately, so it caused several transfers. And then the rest of them are just small, pretty much normal transfers. But if you've got any questions, I'll be happy to try to answer them.
Is it just net zero?
They're all net
They're
zero.
all net zero. Any motion?
Make a motion to approve.
We have a motion and a second by Mr. Harrison.
No, it wasn't.
No,
sent up.
that's a different one.
It was not sent up. It was sent for
That's-
review and never made it through.
Okay.
Bridle House sign, that's because we don't want to interfere with a existing lawsuit. We will make no changes.
Okay.
So,
It was sent
this is not on there.
for review.
so we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All righty.
The next one is the transfers as approved by the committee for Miss Ashley to keep her line items from running over. The interim director did consent to the transfers and agreed with them, and they have been posted.
And these are net zero as well, correct?
They're net zero.
Any motions?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay.
That's the end of my report.
All right, moving on to old business. So we're back, because I think this is now the third time this is back here. We've moved, item A is appropriating $48,000 from local capital projects for the archives roof repairs. I think this was sent back, Mr. Mayor, from some notes from you. I'd entertain a motion for either approval or discussion.
So moved.
Second.
Okay.
Can I make-
For approval or discussion, which one?
Both.
Okay, both.
Can I make one clarification point?
Yes.
Because this was discussed during budget, there is $50,000 for building improvement archives in the 23-24 budget already. This was sent back here from the commission floor is why it's on here, but the 50's already budgeted.
Okay.
But I don't know
So
what happened to
there's,
general.
so it's
officer.
redundant is what.
So we don't need to take action on this?
If the general officer approved it tonight, you really just need to kill this because it's already in the budget if you're wanting the mayor to move forward.
Is there any reason not to move this forward?
No.
Okay,
So do
so
we-
it's already approved by Gen
Needs,
Ops.
needs no action.
needs
So
no
it needs no
action.
action on my budget?
This
Okay,
is building improvements,
Withdraw.
work category, $50,000.
so I withdraw it. If it needs no action and it's already been approved by Gen Ops, great, let's go. Let's get this thing done. This is the election commission, I think we should defer item B. I don't think we have the information we need.
They're still trying to get it
Yeah,
sustained.
so,
So moved.
Second.
Deferred.
all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Alrighty. Item C is highway radio maintenance payment. So,
I thought we
Mr. Ellis still owes us $14,000.
I thought we disposed of this last month.
don't think
You
we
guys
did.
said to pay, but he hadn't had a chance to deal with it yet, so I think you wanted to leave it on the agenda, didn't you?
Yeah, he needs to pay it.
Until it's paid.
Okay, well then we'll see it on the agenda.
Yeah, we'll keep it on the agenda, and like, is there, Mr. Long, is there any movement here?
No.
Can you make a call to, can you and I
I'll
have?
talk to Toby tomorrow.
I'm happy to call him too.
I can
We need to
call
pay it.
him.
I mean,
Give trackers.
we,
Millions of dollars.
Mr. Ellis has been, we did a lot of help this time around.
I'll call Toby tomorrow.
All right. So this one doesn't need action.
He will need to do transfers and stuff, but he's gonna have, that's probably why he's.
That's fine.
Be fair with Toby.
That's fine, totally get it, we just need to do it. Item D, this is 5,500 for the Southeast Bethpage Volunteer Fire Department.
Toby's doing that work, isn't he?
If I may,
Okay.
Mr. Chair, the reason why this was deferred from last month was that the notice that's required by state law was not published.
Right.
And that is the reason why it is here.
And it's published, and also the resolution had to be changed because
Right.
the fiscal year's closed, so all the money will come out of fund balance now, but the resolution in your packet reflects that. That's why it's different.
There's a motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? All right, motion passes unanimously. This doesn't need a second reading, does it?
It came back from the commission floor, so I would just
This
clarify that.
is a second
This
reading.
is the second reading.
Okay, got it. New business,
I think we need to make a motion to waive it because technically it didn't go to the floor. You pulled it from the agenda before we discussed it, so it was not technically a.
that's,
Oh, what discussion?
so,
No.
so are you
I'll
gonna?
stipulate to waive the second reading.
There we go,
Okay.
second.
All right.
So we have a second.
All in
Yeah.
favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Just wanna make sure.
All right. So we've dotted our i's and crossed our t's. Got it. Okay, moving on to new business. Item A is two items under education.
It's fine.
I think you'll need to waive the second reading on this.
Yeah, we will. I've got a couple. I entertain a motion here. Mr. Brown, do you have a motion?
So moved.
Motion. Second. Okay, I would like to get in queue on this one. I just want to note, and these are all, I saw no issue with this. However, I would note that the budget amendment on page, where was it, Mr. Long? It's
98.
98. There is a slight increase. It's coming out of the school fund balance. It's not out of our fund balance. It's not a request for additional funding from us. But there is an increase, and this is to take care of classified staff, which I think is a great thing. I think we all agree with it. But I did want to note that this isn't a net zero. I'm still good with it. I think it's a good reason, but I just wanted to point that out. Yeah, but it's from their fund balance, not ours. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passed
Is that
unanimously.
waiving the second reading?
Mr. Brown,
Yeah.
so you want to amend it to,
I'll amend it.
and I'll take that, or who had the second? Mark.
Harrison.
Okay, and you're good with that? All right, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? All righty. Carryover of 2023 encumbrances to 2024.
They're required to do that, but they're just disclosing
Yeah,
it to you.
I mean-
Asking for your approval.
Mr. Brown,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
motion?
We don't have any,
Yeah.
anything to say on that. That's federal funding.
I'll second.
All right, motion and second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passed unanimously. Okay, item B, this is all flow-through funding. I'd entertain a motion to group and approve for both A and B.
Second.
All right, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Okay, I do think we need to separate out some of these under item 2, because a couple of these are relatively large. So I'll go by line. ADA non-grant funds, so this one, page 136 and 137. This is about 160,000, something that carry forward from last year that wasn't spent?
You gave them $150,000 this year, they have $150,000 not spent last year. Our buildings have several ADA improvements that needs to be accomplished over the next several years. What they're requesting is to carry that 150 over to put together the way they'll have $300,000 for ADA improvements this year. In other words, changing bathrooms or elevators or other things that's non-compliant throughout our buildings.
So I'd entertain a motion, but I want to get in queue afterwards.
So moved.
All right, we have a motion to approve in a second. I have one question here. Is there, like, so we failed to spend about $150,000 last year, and now we're going to roll that forward. Is there actually a plan? I'd be interested in seeing a plan to actually do this as opposed to just, because if we're not
There's
going to do it,
actually a report.
There's a big report on it.
About that thick, I've got it at home.
is it going to get done? I mean, otherwise, we can just throw it back to the fund
Well,
balance.
The thing is, you've got to be progressing toward the ADA, you don't necessarily have to get done, so we're progressing toward it, and some of the report that helped us out a lot is the new Justice Center, because it removed the old courthouse from the picture.
Okay.
But yeah, my understanding is as long as you're progressing toward becoming ADA compliant,
That's
everything,
27.
if we stop or not, so I think that's why another reason we're asking to carry this fund, to make sure we are progressing timely.
Okay. Any further discussion?
We'll move forward in general ops.
Okay.
I think that's where it should start.
All right.
And these, if you want them to continue on, you may want to waive the second reading on these projects.
Who had them?
I have the motion. I'll waive the second reading.
And the second's good with it? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Okay, Brown Park project. This one is actually minimal for us if you look at page 138, 139, and 140. But there are big numbers. The majority of this is coming from a grant, and the other part is coming from the Brown Trust.
Brown Trust, there's $625,000 grant.
So it's just $61,000 from us.
$500,000 from the Brown Trust. There was $125,000 local match, but only 61 of us left, so.
That's right.
61,000.
So it's rolling it forward.
The county's local matching.
Yeah, the county local match one. The project was $1.25 million. The county did a local match of $125,000. There were $625,000 worth of grants, and which were 50/50 grants. The other $500,000 came from the Brown Trust to make the 50/50.
And the county did $500,000. Wasn't it for $500,000?
No, the Brown Trust is making the other match.
Yeah.
What is
But
this?
the county put like $500,000 or $250 into this.
We put 125 in.
No, it ended up being, the original was the $500,000 grant with the $500,000 match, and the Brown Trust covered it. They came back and there was another
Okay.
250 grant with the 125, as well as how the county got the 125. It's been going on for quite a
Mr.
while.
Klein?
What is this?
So, this is, Ms. Long, you can, or Mr. Isbell, you may want to chime in on this as well, but this is a park. So, Mr. Brown donated a lot of his land for Liberty Creek, if I recall it. And so this was a part of a park that was going to be adjacent to the Liberty Creek property, which was, I don't know if there was a formal agreement on it, but this was part of the plan to allow the Brown Trust to use funds from his estate to build this park adjacent to Liberty Creek. What did I miss there?
This is on the Liberty Creek Schools?
Yeah.
Okay, is
Part
this
of
that
his
old
donation.
house, that historic old house? Okay,
This will include all of that.
okay. And so the money is going to be used for renovation of the house?
Renovation of the
building?
Well, they're going outdoor classrooms and amphitheaters. They're building a cross-country course, walking trails, all of that within that area for the schools was part of the will.
And Liberty Creek just gets Rolls Royce-ier and Rolls Royce-ier.
We don't have that down in Nannyberry.
Gene Brown.
Yeah, it was part of the donation that
Part of the deal.
Mr.
Yeah.
Brown made. Yeah, and he wanted it,
Do we have,
of course, named
I
after.
think we have a motion on the floor in a second.
Who made the motion?
No, did we not? Okay, I'm ahead of myself. Well, there's no motion on the floor, then I would entertain one to approve. We haven't had one yet. Do we have a
I'll
motion?
second
Well, I didn't make the motion. I don't make motions.
Oh, you don't make
No,
motions?
I try not to in this committee.
it. So,
I was on the record that I voted against this originally because it was a part of the Master Parks and Greenway plan off of Upper Station Camp Creek Road, a part of the Liberty Creek sewer line. steal people's private property for private development. So that's why I, myself, and I know Commissioner Taylor voted against this originally. But now that we have our private act in place where there's not going to be any greenways outside of this against anybody's wishes, that's a little bit of a different story.
That's right.
You know, as far as that for me. So, but it sounds like this, I mean, this is money that's restricted for this campus only, and that's just what it is.
That's
and
right.
What the grant for. So it's not, you can't do this with anything out. So it's not like
You're not tying them
Hensville High
together.
School and Knox Dawes can't say, hey, well, we want all this
No.
stuff. It's like, well, you need a benefactor to give you the money at that point. I mean, is my understanding, is that?
That is correct.
Pretty
Yes,
accurate,
sir.
so.
Yes, sir.
Only reason, I'll, did you make a motion?
I will make a motion because it's an historic building.
Yeah, I'll second it only because of what I explained. It's a lot different. The reason I voted against it beforehand is it's a part of the master parks and greenway.
But now
plan.
we've killed that.
We've cut some
Severed
heads
it.
off some snakes, you know, and so that we've had a huge victory at the state level. I don't have any problem. I mean, obviously it's restricted for that only, so it's not like you either deny it or, but it's not like Nanny Bear can come say, we want this money too, because it's not for them.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
I'd like to go pass on the second reading since it was
Okay.
unanimous.
Well, we'll have to do that again. Just all in favor to also do away the second reading. Are you good with that?
Yes.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, second reading is waived.
Well, there was no sidewalk involved in this. I might have to change reconsider my vote.
My understanding is it doesn't go outside the park's footprint.
Right, right.
No, it doesn't.
No.
It's for the campus.
Or there's no greenways outside that.
Yeah, that's correct, that's right.
It's within the park.
Just make sure.
So the next one is courthouse and parking garage projects. This is just, these are carryover funds. I don't think there's anything major here, Mr. Long.
It's the vast majority of the carryover funds. We still have stuff floating in, but we need to carry these over to keep the project moving, or it's gonna come to a halt. And then the way it's set up, it actually costs us more money because of overruns, so we need to move this one on if we can.
We have a motion to approve without a second reading.
Make motion.
Or we've got a motion.
Oh, you got one?
Yeah, all right, we have a second. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion passed unanimously. Okay, speaking of words that nobody likes to hear, greenway repairs.
Let me explain this one to you.
Please, Mr. Long, if we want this one to
Back
get
in
approved.
2019, the greenway, the already existing one down in Station Camp, not a new one, was damaged by flooding because of the sewer. It has not been able to be repaired. It's been bid, and it's ready to be repaired at this point. It's the existing greenway, not a new one. And all the property, my understanding on this greenway was donated by the property owners, so there's no condemnation on this greenway. And that's my understanding.
And it stops at Douglas Park.
But this is the Greenway Development Flood Zone, but we spent $50,000, or I didn't vote for it, to fix it a couple of years ago.
This is the same 50.
Oh, it's the same 50?
It's the same 50 carried over because it couldn't be completed because they were working on the sewer.
Well, I might be consistent.
I'll entertain a motion here. We have a motion to approve.
Second.
We have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
No, being consistent. It's damage from a.
I don't want to get sued because somebody got.
I'm gonna say give an aye on this one. All right, motion carries. We have one dissenter. All right, HVAC equipment.
Did you all waive the second reading or just reading?
I did.
Well, who was that? Oh, yeah, who's the motion? Yeah, we had, yes, he had the second reading waived. Well, we
But I
can't,
voted
we
no,
can't,
so
we can't do it.
you
You can't do it.
It's not unanimous.
You're not unanimous.
So-
Yeah, we gotta do it again.
Next month.
So-
All right. HVAC equipment, Mr. Long, I don't think there was anything, there was nothing
They
jumped out
basically
on this
trying to
one.
replace the HVAC as they go along, plus we've got a new maintenance group that may want to replace several HVACs at this point.
Yep.
There's $100,000 in this year's budget, but $100,000 unspent last year. They're wanting to utilize these to have $200,000 because we don't know how many units may have to be fixed or repaired because we switched maintenance companies.
So move. Second. Waive second reading.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed?
Can I ask one question?
Oh, yeah,
Who's the
go.
new maintenance company?
Can't remember off the top of my head, do you remember?
Matrix.
Matrix Mechanical Solutions.
Who?
Matrix Mechanical.
Matrix? Okay. Thank you.
Does that change your vote?
No.
All right. Motion carries unanimously with this waiver of second reading. So this next one we may have require some discussion. This is the jail roof project. So I'd entertain a motion for discussion, and then maybe Mr. Klein, you hop in.
Okay.
We have a second for discussion. Second, okay. Mr. Klein, I might ask you and Mayor Isbell and David Long to weigh in on this one.
Okay, well, and correct me if I'm wrong, guys, but we're in discovery as far as whether we can and want to use an investor group to re-roof the jail at no cost to us, plus put a solar panel system on it. And the costs would be our existing electrical bills or less, according to what they've told us. The other option is using a cooperative, if it's legal, and that's what David is working on tomorrow, I believe, to see if we can do that in the state of Tennessee and in our county. And if we use cooperatives, that will simplify the system that we use right now, which is bidding, I believe. We're still discovering things. We have agreements that we're reviewing, and the mayor's reviewing it. Several of, Josh Suddeth is reviewing it. Marshall Wright is reviewing it. David is reviewing it. There's several people reviewing it. So we're trying to figure out what the facts are versus fiction. And when we have absolute directions that we know we can go, we will present those as far as I understand.
Mr. Mayor, sounds very accurate to me.
So is the idea here that this gets deferred?
I think it has to.
There's one or two things. You can move the budget on forward, or you can do the first reading and wait till we get something back next month, or go ahead and move it forward either way.
You're closer to it.
We can, I would think we could go ahead and roll the money over. If we're not gonna use it, we're not gonna use it, and it can just be absorbed
Just
in
put
the
it
general
back.
fund.
Okay.
Yeah, and that way it's procedurally, we can keep moving on the project if we find that we can't do it this way.
And how much is it?
1,475.
147, okay, yeah. I make a motion to approve and move it along.
Okay. But not waiving the second reading.
And waive the second reading.
Yes.
Oh, no, don't
Not
waive,
waiving.
not waive the
Okay.
second.
Second.
All right.
I want to ask you a question.
Okay, we have.
While we're in the discovery phase, how bad is the leak?
Well, right now, that 2-month temporary fix is holding up.
This be a second
So,
reading.
the sheriff has not called me with any issues, so.
So,
Of course, that 2 months was, we did that fix in March.
Yeah.
So we
And that
are
roof
on
is-
borrowed time.
That roof has been leaking in
Yeah.
spots for years.
Yeah.
I just want to say this one thing, because I spoke to Mr. Long about this. The idea on the solar panel seems
Solid.
pretty solid to me. Like, I haven't seen I know you're the one who digs into the plans, but just from a purely financial point of view, we add energy back to the grid. It basically pays for itself. And, we take on very little of the maintenance of it. Like,
No maintenance.
It seems like a very good deal.
They warranty
And
it
I
for
applaud
20
y'all
years.
for looking into
Well,
something outside the box.
They're exploring the financial viability of it, and then after we get those numbers, we'll have to send it to the state to see if they will actually approve the lease before we can even send it to the county commission. So it'll have to go through that steps, plus we'll have to look at the purchasing cooperative, and we also gotta settle the engineer to make sure what's going on.
Mr. Harrison?
There's several pieces if it works.
Who's the investor?
We don't know. It could be one of several investing groups. This came up, started in January when the Inflation Act,
It's inflation.
the Inflation Act
Because of credits.
was modified to include government entities. And so it's a very new thing, and there are more.
Any of them located in Sumner County?
I don't know, but I can find out. We can find out.
Any further discussion? Oh, Mr. Brown.
Is there any structural problem as far as this roof being able to support?
Shouldn't be, because I believe there's only one roof, and the structural engineers, I believe, say that we can have 2 roofing covers on. We won't even need that, because most of the roofing would be less than a full thickness of EPDM, it's a spray-on.
Yeah, we have 2 roofs on there.
Oh, we do?
Yeah, so there will have to be some removal, and there are some questions of the silicone that they want to cover it with. So those questions we're just getting answers
Right.
for. And like he said, it just came out in January, so it's very new. And we don't even know if there's any projects being done right now, any success stories, so we're trying to figure all that out.
Oh, go ahead.
Some of the hesitancy also in committee was the fact that a third party is gonna be profiting off of us because they're taking on the burden of doing it. So the question was asked, is this something the county wants to look into doing for other buildings? And would it be beneficial to us just to save the money ourselves, and how big are we gonna go with that? And just realizing how much we didn't know about it, more research was needed. So one of the committee members, Commissioner Wynn's gonna talk with Shoals Technology, reminded them that we have a solar specialist here in the county, and they may know a little bit about this program or some of the players in the game, to know the people that are offering it, just to see the legitimacy of it.
Or they may want to get into the game themselves, so we would.
Right, and that's our own county person that may be able to help
Part of
us.
So we have
the credits is part of the reason, the reason the businesses are involved is part of it's because of the federal tax credits. So
I realize that, they jumped in on a good opportunity, but that's what those
Just to
red
keep
flags
this-
up with
Right.
me. Somebody's making money off of us, do we wanna?
Can we
And
go to sales?
I appreciate that, adding that, but just to move us along here, we have a motion, we have a second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All righty, motion passed unanimously. Okay, Sheriff's Office, these two, I don't think that there's anything big on it. I'd entertain a motion to group and approve.
So moved. Second.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed?
Second reading.
Wait, all right, we'll do it again. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, passed unanimously with no second reading needed. Okay, I'd entertain a motion for discussion, item 3, which is the nonprofit.
So move for discussion.
Second.
Okay.
So I was a little confused by this statement made by a citizen comment on, hey, Tennessee Promise covers 2-year colleges, so I don't understand what this is about. If Tennessee is covering, but is this for like somebody who doesn't qualify for the Tennessee
It's
Promise?
adult education, GED
But it-
program.
Oh, it's a GED program.
Y'all
So
have
Tennessee
funded
Promise
it
doesn't
every
cover
year
GED
since
program?
I've been here at least, but they did not request. She said they turned in their form, but we never got it, so.
Do you have any, I'm gonna get in queue real
Go
quick.
ahead.
So I'm gonna cut this one short here. I have an idea I think makes sense. I mean, I understand that the schools used to pony this up. Is that correct, Mr. Long?
They used to have their own adult education program years ago.
So,
But after that, then we started doing the grant match after they.
so realizing that the schools have $120 million in reserves, I would like to take this on and give a call to our director of schools and see, I want to help these folks out, but I'm going to make a call and see if maybe this gets routed to the appropriate folks, which I think is the
Makes
schools.
sense.
Are you looking for a motion to defer?
I don't think we need, a motion to defer, and then I'm going to make that phone call and.
I move to defer.
All
I'll
right.
second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. So we have one more, this is item number, no, we're gonna go to C, and then we'll do the door. So item 1, we just spent a good bit of time talking about here.
I'm going to make a motion to deny this request, and here's why. So the county approved broadband funds, which I did vote for this, just for $5 million of ARPA money. And, just 2 years ago, the state of Tennessee basically sent out a report through CTAS talking about, if we're talking about water, the ARPA was not, it was because of COVID. That's what it is. It was an inflationary bailout package under the guise of COVID, is what this is about. And of course, you can't, as Mo Taylor would like to say, you can't, how can you have sanitation if you can't wash your hands, you don't have water? So he like to make that joke. But with broadband, there's 500,000 people in the rural areas in Tennessee who don't have access to it. More people are working from home and, as a viable source of income. or going to school online, especially misplaced learning during COVID. So I think it'd be a mistake to take this money out of the broadband, because there is a need for that just as much as there is for water.
He's just talking about the motion.
My motion is to deny this request, then keep that money to what the commission actually did intend it for, and I think is unanimous vote, believe it or not, of many things, is for this broadband appropriation. So I'm against transferring this out of broadband.
Is
it,
there a sec- was there- we need a second.
No, we're second this.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Now, I'm gonna get in queue on this one, but Mr. Schmidt, go ahead.
Real quick, is this fair to say that we just recently approved the education budget for their fiscal year? So a lot of these kids in high school and middle school will be taking home these iPads to work. So if we approve what Commissioner Mansfield is saying, if we keep it in broadband, they're gonna need more broadband in the future.
So are you saying you're pro iPad, Mr. Schmidt?
No, I'm just, but I'm just saying, if they're bringing those iPads home,
They gotta use. It's already a
they're gonna
done
have to
deal.
use them, they're gonna need broadband, are they not?
No, I'm just poking at you.
No, I know. I'm just,
So I need to clarify.
Any other, oh, go
I
ahead.
need to clarify, I'm talking about denying item 1A, the
Yes.
transfer 2.5
Yeah,
million.
I'm,
But there's an item above, it's the TDEC when you guys talked. It was 1 and then A is the 2.5.
I mean, we settled that in legislation. I
Yeah,
don't know why
that-
this is even in this.
yeah, this
committee. It should
is
be in
just
here.
about the 2.5
Okay, so we
million.
need
This
to-
is just about the 2.5 million.
Yeah, for one, I mean,
Okay.
if we're just.
I'm sorry, maybe I misread it. I thought this was only about that to begin with.
Well, 231 and 232 is the items that you guys discussed in legislative, because we thought it was going from legislative to budget.
Okay.
That's item 1.
Well,
Item 2 is.
if we do we need to pass forward
Not
that
if
resolution?
legislative, not if legislative.
Okay.
We
All right.
passed it with amendments.
Yeah, which we did with good amendments.
Yes.
Okay, so, Mr. Schmidt, anything further?
no.
Mr. Harrison?
The broadband, I do agree 100% that the broadband should be viewed as a utility. However, if you don't have water, broadband doesn't do you a lot of good. So that's why I actually am the one that kind of proposed this, simply because we're, without getting too biblically oriented, we're sort of splitting the baby in half. You're helping two utilities as opposed to one. I'm not sure that what was passed in legislative is gonna fly, because I don't know, I think the timing is gonna be off. But, I'll support either way, but I do think if you had to pick one over the other, I think water is vastly more important. And
I mean,
to
so-
deny that would be
I'm in agreement, I'll get you.
kind
So,
of silly.
so, Mr. Harrison, well, I'll just put this out for everybody, not to speak directly to you. I actually, when I first thought about this, I was for it. And then after digging into the water lines and the volume that those water lines would be bringing in, and then having this last discussion, this is one of these where I've changed my mind. So I think that the 10 million after that last discussion, assuming everything passes, is gonna be more than sufficient to get what is needed on water, and we're gonna have the 5 million for broadband. I mean, that's kind of my take on it now, so I'm kind of, I have had my mind changed.
If we keep this in broadband, can it ever come up again?
I mean, yeah.
Until we build the broadband.
Well, can I ask this question a different
Sure.
way? If this 5 million passes tonight,
Mm-hmm.
It's already
And it-
passed, you gotta understand.
Yeah.
It's already passed.
I understand that, but I mean, the motion is to kill the transfer of the 2.5 million. So that basically means we're leaving 5 million in the broadband.
Correct.
So does that mean if it passes the floor next Monday night at 5 million, are we cutting a check?
We're not voting next Monday night. That's what you don't understand. The appropriation's already been made.
Yeah, we already passed.
Well, there's no vote.
This is an amendment to what's already been passed.
Okay, so then my question would be, when are we gonna act on the
So,
broadband?
here's what, I'm actually gonna make an amendment on this. I wanted to have this discussion first. I would like to cut, however this went, I would like to cut a check for at least 2.5 million as soon as we vote. Here, like, just go ahead and cut the check. Let these guys get going. There's no reason not
It's
to.
gotta run through. We gotta run through everything on ARPA because they're gonna be a
We've
sub-recipient.
already met the
We've already voted, but the commission previously
No,
voted.
no, I'm tracking that. I'm just saying like, if
We'll
we're
be
gonna
ready.
do it, we should go ahead and, let's go ahead and cut the check.
There's no vote needed to take.
There's no vote. The mayor the
No,
other day
I know that.
was talking to CMC, but the question came up, he's got 5 million in his budget, but there was a discussion for it potentially to be moved back to 2.5 million. So that's why the project paused the other day for the mayor to find out what you decided.
Got it, okay.
On his funding, because they were ready to move the other day, I believe.
So
Is
there's,
this the CEMC package?
yes,
Okay, so that's what's been stalling it, is the money.
yeah, that we've been we're holding it up.
Okay.
He was ready to go, but he didn't want
Yeah.
to promise 5 if you were planning to
If
move.
we're
It
to
was
gonna
voted
2.5.
on 2 years ago.
So,
Yeah. Well,
so this is one that
So
can move now.
So are we looking at shortfall in the water? Is this why this is happening, or?
No, well, it was, the idea, I think, Mr. Harrison, don't let me speak for it, but I think the idea was that make sure that we are given sufficient funding to get,
Water.
to do a good job, for water supply, which, you know, in theory, I think sounds great, but then once we dug into it a little bit, at least my take on it, was that we've got enough in water
Yeah.
supply. Well, that's the way I'm reading this.
30 million.
There is no shortfall, right?
I mean, there'll be a little bit, because the cost estimate's around 30 million. We'll only have 29, so there will be a shortfall.
And that's assuming that we apply for the grant.
And they give
we
all,
get the
and we
grant.
get the full amount.
Because see, that's the issue. This is a rare opportunity to get that $19 million. If these communities don't get that $19 million, the taxpayers are gonna be on the hook for that. So your water rates are gonna go, because that line to Westmoreland is already 40 years old.
Yeah.
And it has water loss. So
Yeah.
if you don't make these improvements, it's only gonna cost, this is a rare opportunity to tap in. This is a one-time opportunity. It's no county funding, because it's
I get it.
19 million ARPA and then the 9 million.
Go ahead.
We passed it unanimously, we all agree, it's a
Yeah.
great opportunity, that's why we passed it.
Yeah, we passed it.
But we just, it's
Contingencies.
contingencies, so we wanna make sure people are being honest about it.
I didn't mention that in the other meeting, but I'm afraid that contingency is not gonna be approved by TDEC because it's federal dollars and you can't put those stipulations on that.
But we're not putting stipulation, I mean, this isn't a previous thing, but we're not putting stipulations on the federal government. We're putting stipulations on,
But
Cities.
as a recipient of this $19 million grant, I don't think you can put the restrictions on it. I don't think TDEC will let you do that.
well, we'll let them come back to
I
us.
mean, unfortunately, we didn't have time to look into it.
We'll let them come
so-
back to us.
I'm gonna call them tomorrow, so hopefully I can have that
All right.
answer by next week.
That'd be great. and thank
May
you.
I?
Go ahead.
May I just ask one question? If you find that out, can you communicate that to the members of the budget committee and the legislative committee so that at least we would have a fighting chance to maybe develop a plan
Do
on
an
the
ad hoc or
fly
something.
next Monday night?
Good
All right.
suggestion.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, so we have a motion on the floor to deny this. We have a second. Any further discussion on it? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Abstain.
One abstention.
So the committee wants the part of CMC to move forward to 2.5 million, is that what? it
Now,
is?
5.
At the 5
We
right
just
now?
passed. Yeah, because we denied it 4-5.
Is there a comment on that?
So we can get something done there. Okay, register of deeds. This is the second reading, I believe, right, for the Comcast 36 months?
It's not really an appropriation at all. Anytime there's a multi-year contract that goes outside the fiscal year, it has to have one of two things, subject to appropriation or the county commission's approval. Because this is with Comcast and they're not gonna give us a subject to appropriation, for her to be able to obtain her line, she needs county commission's approval. It's $301 a month, she's gonna pay for it out of her fees, and it is in her budget.
All right,
It doesn't really need a second, it needs approval.
got it. So we do need, I'll entertain a motion.
moved.
Second.
All in favor? Any opposed? We have one item left, and this is for up to
So moved.
$1,500.
I move for approve.
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion passed unanimously. We have one left.
What is
Move to
it?
adjourn.
Second.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. All right. Door to the office.
You guys flew.